I love how friendly they are. If you're walking on the road and it's just you and you see another Fijian that's walking the opposite direction, you'll always say something to them. Right? They'll always say something to you, whether it be iyo or mbula or salakamanwango. They'll say something to you. They'll always recognize you. They'll always say hi to you. They'll always say goodbye to you. And they're welcoming. If you're walking in the village, it's cultured to invite anybody that walks past you to come join you at dinner or at lunch or breakfast. So you're walking in the village in the morning, you'll walk past an open door, you'll be like, "Mai, munti," and you'll be like, "Unaka," and be like, "Mai, look mai," and then you'll say, "No, I'm good," and they'll be like, "All right." But they'll always invite you to come eat with them, and even if they don't have anything, they'll try to find something to give you. They're just generous. They don't care about the temporal things in life so much. They don't care about money. They don't care about status or wealth. They just care about their families, and they care about God and about helping others out, and because they know that those are the things that really give them happiness. So I love that. I love how humble they are. They're just willing to learn and to love. I never met a Fijian that didn't like love you instantly, and I don't know, the love just grows and grows. Every time I got transferred, I cried. I didn't want to leave the people. They're just so nice and willing to help you out. I don't know. I've just never met a people that were so kind and generous and wanting to do what's right. When I first got there, actually, it was winter time in Fiji, which was summertime here in America. And I got there and it was still really hot to me, but all the Fijians were saying how cold they were and they were holding on blankets and stuff. And it was probably at least 70 degrees. And they were cold and I thought they were crazy. And then by the end of my mission, 2 years later, it was winter time again. And I was sitting there holding blankets and stuff at night. And when I'd study in the morning, I'd still keep my blanket on me to try not to freeze, even though it was 75 degrees. I was so used to the temperature that it was still super cold to me. You wear skirts every day. They call it a suluvakatanga. And that's your dress. I didn't wear pants or socks for 2 years. And it was great. A lot of the businessmen and stuff wear them every day, so you wear them every day. And if you ride a bike, good luck to you. I just had to wear bicycle shorts underneath if I did that because I flashed too many people, I think. So crime and safety. I remember my first night in Fiji. I was going out with a missionary, and he was still pretty young too. But we were walking in the streets of Suva, and it's pretty run down, and it was dark, and we were by ourselves on this road, and we're walking. And if I was in America and it looked like that scene, and it was that late at night, I would have been scared for my life. And in Fiji, I asked my companion I was with, I was like, "Hey, is this safe?" Because I didn't feel safe at the time. He's like, "This isn't America, Elder Brower. Like, this is way safer than America." And I was shocked. It kind of took me back. And we were walking, and we see this Fijian guy, and he looks scary and kind of rough in the nighttime. And we see him, and he says hi to us, and we say hi back, and we keep walking, and every person we saw would say hi to us as we walked down the road at the nighttime. And I don't know, it's a different place, a different world, but I've never felt safer than I did in Fiji. My parents would email and say, "Are you okay?" and stuff, and said I feel a lot safer here than I do at home. So that's really nice. The safety's really good there. Wildlife-wise, there's not a lot of big animals or big game like we might imagine. There's no monkeys or like giraffes or anything running around. There's a ton of frogs, a lot of geckos that will just be everywhere and are everywhere. There's mongoose. Mongoose have killed a lot of like the bird population, I've heard also, so there's not a ton of beautiful exotic birds because I guess a lot of them have been killed, and the frogs and all those are introduced also. So these introduced species have come in and killed a lot of what used to live in Fiji. The day-to-day life, depending on where you lived, it was really simple. And the men would go to work either on the farm or their day jobs. They would come home in the afternoon. A lot of them loved to play rugby in the evening. They would eat dinner together. They would hold their little lotu, or what they call their little church, where they'd get together and they'd either share a spiritual thought and have a prayer, and they'd go to sleep. And a lot of my areas didn't have electricity, so they'd be in bed by 7 or 8 in the evening, but they didn't have much money, they didn't have many materials, but they were happy. They had their family and they had God. They knew that everything was okay, and that's all they needed. So there's the main city of Suva, which actually has about 250,000 people, last I heard. So a large percentage of the population lives there, but I have never actually served in Suva. Wherever I served, they were farmers and didn't have much money to their name, but they had land which they had inherited, and they'd go out with their machetes and they'd especially be planting the starches. Their starch crops are kind of like potatoes. They have dalo and cassava and vundi and a couple other things that's super important to their diet. They eat starches, and then they have either fresh greens or fish or something to go along with it, but the starches is what fills you up. To get around, the buses are super cheap. A lot of where I went, it would cost you 70 Fijian cents to either get to town or go somewhere, which is like 40 American cents. So it's really cheap. You get on, they're super old and rickety and loud, and they bang all over the place, and there's no windows. And so if it's raining, you pull down these tarps from the sides and try to like not get splashed by too much mud. There's taxis all over the place, but those are more expensive, and the people don't usually ride them too often unless they really need to. Learning Fijian was pretty tough for me, but it's fun because I've kind of come full loop because now I'm a teacher. I remember starting out, the pronunciation's a little bit different. Your C in English, it's the ka sound. In Fijian, it makes like the th sound, like you're going to say the or something. It's the noise is the C. D, there's like an N before it that's not right, it's nd. So like something's right, ndondonu. G is the nga sound, which is the hardest thing for palangis or white people. It's like the end of sing. If you're like sing a song, the nga and sing is that noise. You hear that all the time, and the Q is the nga. There's just a little bit different pronunciation, but the vowels are a, e, I, o, u. Same with all the Polynesian languages. You just have your a, e, I, o, u. So that's nice. You combine them. A, u is au. You combine vowels and just make it. It sounds really pretty, I think. There's a ton of dialects too. There's over 200 dialects in Fijian. Every village has their own dialect, and every province kind of has their own dialect going on. So some are really similar to the main one, which is Vosavan Bau, is the main dialect. It's what almost all Fijians can understand and speak Vosavan Bau. And then to their own different places, they will have their own dialect also. And if you're able to pick up the dialect, then you are even more popular with them. They are even more ready to listen to what you have to say because of the time you're taking to learn it. And they don't say their V's like English. In English we go va. They use their lips and go va. So it's like waka, and to say like you're grateful, it's waka vina vinakataka. And one of the dialects I learned, you drop the K for all words, and then some words you just change it up a little bit. And the taka, if you're gonna be, it's one of your transitive endings. So if there's gonna be an object to the verb, you change it up. So one of the dialects, instead of saying waka vina vinakataka to be grateful, you'd say wa vina vinataina. So it just mixes it up a little bit, but it's really fun. It's fun to learn the dialects. They'll help you out, and it kind of grammatically it's different than English. You're third person. Instead of saying like God loves us, you'd say He loves us, God. And same with Tuvalu. And so your grammar is going to get messed up. And when I came home from my mission, my English was horrible, and my inflection in the voice, because they go all over the place. And when I got home, I do that with my English, and I got made fun of all the time, but it's all right. I thought it was worth it. Just dive right into the language, and I learned a lot when I just was able to be there and be with the natives and hear them speak it. And if I'd seen something like in a book and I heard it spoken, then it really clicked in my brain. I was like, oh, I remember studying that. And I hear it spoken, and then I try to mimic that. And I remember my first Sunday, I stood up at the pulpit because they asked me to bear my testimony, and I couldn't say, I was trying to say my brothers and sisters, natadingu, kenanganengu, wakayalo. I couldn't say nganengu because of the G sound, and I was just like nga, and I couldn't pronunciate it correctly, and they all just start laughing at me, and I just start laughing with them, and we're all having a good time. And being able to laugh at yourself and accept that you're not going to be good at it for a long time will help you to learn it, because you'll just keep trying. As you try, you learn, and as you learn, you grow and you get better. Eu, belum nak kem ni keda mai viti, au marota kana ngonongo meu. Você ani kem ni, au smaro saranga meu. Metigo eu nang lalongo meu. Você na nongo vanjinjina. Au listala mai viti nem baksauti, mai na nongo kaulutu ni lotu Jesus Christo ni andon dai. Ngonongo au hulitigo, au sebenarnya kila lawa via the kawan nongo laka ia au via vokaretak nga nongo wakawin manaka vi kim do kede ni nindo wakulidi au lebu na kabanaka kim do vokaretaka via na laloma ni kalo nindo daloma ni erkede na tamata ve Italia ke baka do we kilai si sianga do kem do da we lo maninga au wabina tagana nom do bakareta ki biau kau bia tukuna talangani bula tuna kalau kau tu no wan din din mabelatan na non de bakbula Jesus Christo kilani laku mai koe kin wurwurungu me mai mate no bukunda kau kila talangani ni bula tuko koe tu tak tala mana mate ena buku ni non tu tak tale kena ke na tu tak tala nga mana mate kau wan din din taka ni Nindina loto ngono loto Jesus Christo no nono loto o koe bakale su tala mai kina wurwurungu wuna nono porfito Joseph Smithi don tono nga menda tosa nga kiliu wosota me ado bana baktau te ochi menda tsikubata malamalangi menda les talabuna kalau au mani kem no kira vale usara au na singing davi kem do rawa kongono no mandinjina ya de Jesus Christo emeni